But with how this game is going, the Spurs are letting the Knicks back into this one. There was, during that 18-4 run, just freaking the Spurs weren't making anything. They were shooting terrible. Oh, let me look at the largest blown lead. Largest blown lead in Spurs history. All right, guys. Get the clips ready. Get the clips ready. Clipping it now. The largest blown lead in San Antonio Spurs history is 32 points. Oh, okay. Okay, so it's not. It was 29. It was 29. The largest blown lead in history is 32 points. They squandered this massive advantage in 2021. Dude, this was recent. This was very recent against the Boston Celtics, ultimately losing. Wait a minute. Spurs set NBA Finals record with the largest halftime lead in the modern era. Let's go modern era. Yeah, this has all the makings to. Well, they had the largest lead and they blew it. The largest blown lead or greatest comeback of an individual's finals game is 24 points set by the Boston Celtics against the Lakers in Game 4 of the 2008 NBA Finals. Okay, they erased a 24-point third quarter deficit to win the game, 97-91. Ooh. Here we go. Wemby. Oh my gosh. Wemby just got hack-a-shacked.
Brunson gets it. Fires up a three. Shot no good. The chip. It's gone. It's gone. It's gone. With 1.2 remaining. Knicks take the lead. OG Anunoby. And it's 107-106. Bedlam here at the Garden.
We got to talk about the improbable comeback of the New York Knicks the other night. One of, if not the craziest comeback, which, in fact, during the stream I was talking about, okay, what is the largest blown lead that has ever happened in an NBA Finals? The largest lead is 30 points. It was done by the Celtics way back forever ago. And then they talked about the bubble, which is kind of funny that the NBA is, like, excluding the bubble, which, I mean, there was no real home court advantage there. But what we witnessed the other day, where the Spurs at one point were up by 29, but then slowly, little by little, the Knicks were able to chip away into that lead where they ultimately came back from the 29 points down with late game heroics and a couple clutch threes there at the very end. Lots of people are wondering how this happened, and so I thought I'd give my thoughts and reactions to the game and what transpired with OG Obanobi's tip-in at the very end. So let's get into the video. So my first thing that I want to bring up is OG and how many threes he had there towards the very end of the game. He had a lot. Same with Brunson. Both of them were creeping together, like going along where, 25 points. One has 27 points. Oh, now they're both, locked at 31 apiece. Both of them got super hot at the very end of the game with the three ball. Now, here's one thing that a lot of people will talk about IQ in basketball and why did Fox not dribble out the clock. I don't think he necessarily was the main reason on why the Spurs lost. But all things considered, you have Brunson driving the lane in for a layup. If he makes this, it's 107-106. There's 18 seconds left to go. Wembanyama blocks this and gets a piece of it. And then we have a loose scramble for ball with 17 seconds left. Nobody actually retains possession because, again, it's chipped away. And now it's going to go into the Spurs side of the court here. And we have a loose scramble. There is 14 seconds left. So again, no team can call a timeout on, hold on, he's got possession. Let's call a timeout here. I think it was the right move. Now you could, with 12 seconds left, go, okay, timeout, possession, timeout. I think Fox made the right choice in trying. We have a loose scramble here. There's no plays drawn up. It's the heat of the game is coming down to the line. We only have 12 seconds left in the game. Yes, go for the layup here. Try to extend the lead because it's a loose scramble. Okay? So, and anyways, even if, let's say he didn't get the ball here, and then, because you have two Knicks players down here getting the ball, they would have recovered and brought it up to the front of the court, and then they would have called a timeout anyways. And so him going and trying to get the possession, make it, but he missed, because OG ended up having a block. The Knicks were going to end up with the ball anyways, under 12 seconds. Just the difference is Okay, does San Antonio keep their score at 106, or do they try to go 108? Another thing that I want to touch up on too, with the final possession and everything, is your tallest player, the tallest player arguably with the best handles in the NBA. He's not even going up for the ball. This is another thing that I think, you want to rewind it back a little bit. We have 2-on-1 here trying to block Brunson. At least Wembanyama has his hand up trying to, contest Brunson's shot. And as we know, it was unsuccessful and went off the front iron. The other thing is, everybody, Castle has Cat. We got Harper down here because you look, and as you watch the replay, Harper and Vassell would have out-rebounded Bridges and Shamat. But the problem is here, nobody took OG. OG came from over here and was able to just cut inside of the key, obviously. But then as we look and we pause the freeze frame right here, we have 4 players, because he starts to get up too. We have 4 players going up for the rebound, and the tallest player that could out-rebound all of them, both feet are planted firmly on the ground, not even going up to contest the shot. Now, you got to give credit to OG too as well for tipping it in. Like, this is an unbelievable comeback, and I want to give the Knicks all the credit for doing that because no team historically has ever done this. The other largest comeback, I believe, was the Celtics in 2008. I looked it up while the game was going, but just the fact that, your tallest player not jumping for the ball. Come on, Wemby. But I think, you got to give credit to OG. But then also the Spurs in there, I think, what made the first half what the first half was. You go look, they set a record. Look at it. They made 14 3-pointers in the first half. But then you come out in the second half, and I mixed it up in real time and didn't notice it while watching the game live. They shot like 8 3-pointers in a row, like straight, and they didn't like, hey, let's work on, our post game, let's feed it into the middle. They just kept throwing up threes, and eventually what that 60+ percentage was, it eventually leveled out to 40% because in the second half, and this is where I think the game ultimately, excluding OG and Brunson getting hot from the 3 and making clutch buckets down towards the end of the game, what settled this game ultimately was the fact of those 14 threes that they'd made in the first half. The Knicks outshot them in the second half, and they made 10 threes, and the Spurs only made 3. And that ultimately is what I think, leveled the game. Now, we have the heroics here and, the tip-in at the very end, which was ultimately the game winner. But the Spurs missing their threes and the Knicks being able to double their 3-point amount, where it evened out to, I think the Knicks made 15 and the Spurs made 17 threes total. The water leveled out, and it ultimately put the Knicks in this position to where, hey, we're just going to chuck something. It gets tipped in, Knicks win, and they're up 3-1. But, guys, that's just my thoughts and reactions to this game as a whole. It was a hell of a game. I thought the Spurs, I didn't think they'd lose, so that's a huge surprise and shock to me. But be sure to let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys. Do you think the Knicks have this wrapped up? Are they going to win it in Game 5 in San Antonio? Or is this thing over? Guys, be sure to let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thank you so much for watching and tuning in. I'll try to catch you guys in the next one.